So, one more video for a bit of more critical thinking to clarify the context of what has gone out. I still hold true that the wrap up to point out the convoluted mess that is Aaron Costello is still a wrap up, but this can go on the playlist for an in between. There was a slight correction or a bit more information to clarify what was going on. And thank you for the clarification. Because I say, though, they're all in this call planning to harass Charlotte, and that is true. They're all involved in the same goal. But I did say, if I remember rightly, I've said somewhere, oh, I know I said it, whether it's on the uploads or not, is because sometimes you have to do a number of takes here just before you, oh, let's try that video again, particularly in everyday life. You know, somebody might be, I might get a phone call or whatever. Regardless, I've said something to the effect of, oh, I'm not sure I got it right. I may have included somebody in that call that wasn't there, but they were all involved anyway. That's a good point to underline. They were all involved with the same goal in mind anyway, just like the court of law says in that document. They were all entwined with the same goal to go after Charlotte. So, additionally, I'll add that Erin was in contact with Charlotte's daughter and people in Charlotte's own small town to go after Charlotte. Of course, one of the irrelevant excuses that Erin comes out with is like, oh, Charlotte's all these X amount of miles away. How could I be a problem? Again, as the court of law pointed out, borders from state to state don't matter because all this communication via the internet, again, obviously borders don't matter. Here I am doing a video from the UK, and you could have a live show with me or live feed or whatever, or go on live stream with me, and you could be in Australia, the other side of the planet, or New Zealand, or you could be, I don't know, just up in Scotland in part of the UK, or just over the ocean a little bit, much nearer Ireland, or Denmark, all these much nearer places. But it doesn't matter. It's all relevant, irrelevant to anything that falls out of Aaron's mouth. All this, an hour and 12 minutes of video that she put out was just so damn weak. Any excuse to try and justify herself was coming out, and then another excuse to try and justify herself contradicted the last one or had nothing to do with it. There was no bigger picture being built whatsoever. Every time I've asked for information from whoever, the bigger picture, you know, I only ask those who I think are credible sources, and a bigger picture gets built properly because it fits in properly with the last bit of information. Oh, I wonder why? Because it's consistent with what did happen, and they've made sure they got notes and evidence of what went down, video evidence and whatnot, and on and on. Charlotte has recently contacted me after doing all these videos and thanking me for doing so. But nowhere during the videos did Charlotte ever hardly contact me. It was only like maybe part 10 and then my final wrap up video, which is still going to be equated as a final. I'll put this one between that and the final as a filler. This is why I did those fillers further down the line, thinking, oh, there may need to be some kinks smoothed out here and there. Being proactive, not reactive, which is easy enough to do. You use a bit of higher thinking until you got to use it before you lose it. To quote Cheshire Vic, this sticks in my brain nicely. I like the statement. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Very valid statement. So, I asked Charlotte if it was okay to share her minor correction. She said, of course it's okay. And she said something to the effect of, Minor correction: Erin wasn't on the call with her stepdaughter because she was at work at the time, but Erin, that is, Steve and Nikki did do a live video with both of Charlotte's stepdaughters that has been recent, more after the fact, deleted. Both were so horrible, Charlotte thought she might come, Erin might come at me about that. I highly doubt she would, but I can understand what, via Charlotte's perspective, how she might be thinking that way. Thank you for the concern, but I don't think so somehow, after everything I shared. Because this work does show directly to Erin who Erin really is. My last video, well, we get to that on my last video in a bit. But she's been eerily silent for a few days. Yeah, not surprised. A bit of a dry throat, yeah, so get some water. Eerily silent a few days. Neither of them have been in Charlotte's life, these daughters, for 20 years. Keep that in mind. These assholes were involved in dragging up members of a family that haven't been in contact for 20 years. And I don't care what caused the disconnect in the family or whatsoever, because they use that as well. These hateful individuals say, see, even Charlotte's own daughters don't want anything to do with it. No, that would be Erin projecting, actually. Erin, by her own admission, her own son doesn't want to take a photo of her. So, but yeah, it's interesting how Erin's crying like, I lost all my friends. I want my friends back. Charlotte has recently said, I feel like I've gained some new friends. Or I can say, you're courageous, Charlotte. Well done. And thank you for helping clarify some things here and there. So, neither of them been in contact for 20 years. The whole thing is insane. It is utterly insane. And I think partially, certainly a large part of what's happened here is like their paranoia, the emotion based mindset rather than critical thinking based, which all of us as human beings, we are emotional first before we're critical thinking, which is why we need to value critical thinking so much, because we don't want to get too lazy and being reactive instead of proactive, right? And put out action to try and understand things for what they really are, as opposed to what we assume they are or what we would wish them to be. Wishful thinking doesn't get you anywhere. Erin's just finding that out finally. A bit late in life to find that out, but yeah, some people are a bit slow, I guess. Right? And there's so much here that just equates to Erin's got nothing. Never had anything to start with. And now she's probably looking back on all this, realizing how much she deluded herself into thinking that she had anything to start with. During the whole journey, it's just empty. Well, the wind's gone out of the sails. The imaginary wind that you thought it was taking you somewhere. It was taking you somewhere for sure. Down your own fictional black hole, you know. But her delusion that, this was fine. It's how people end up collapsing. It's like, I like to use metaphors a lot, you can tell. And, one metaphor is you're sailing your ship. Everything's fine, the ship's amazing. Everything's going well. All the crew are happy. So you get lazy. You admire the success of the view of your success for so long, it all goes to your head. And holes start appearing in the bow of the ship, and you start flooding in, and rot sets in, and so on. So, what point in time was Erin admiring what she thought was a success and got lazy? Probably the CNN article just went right to her head. But there was something dodgy going on there from day one, I guarantee. Something just didn't seem to sit right about that either. So, irrelevant from way back when, before she even had any online presence at all, I'm sure. Because you don't get that dysfunctional just overnight. But sometimes people say, oh, you might be born like this and that. No, that this is years of practice of denialism and manipulation of other people. She's always got her own way. That's my conclusion, yeah. And you can see why I conclude that. It seems to tally well with what we see. So much manipulation of people over the years that she always got her own way, that she deluded herself into thinking she actually used the court of law for continued manipulation. The more you successfully manipulate around you, the more you delude yourself into thinking that you can. It wasn't working for her in person-to-person life. She thought it was working online. Not, oh, my friend's back. Well done, Charlotte, for gaining new friends. You seem to be amicable enough to me in communication, and why I love this community, because they value critical thinking. So much so that they value any context out there to clarify an argument. And great. Is why, for a long time, way back when, I would go into chats looking at the 5 C's, for instance. What was it? Critical thinking, context to clarify, credibility, was that one? And there's lots of C's you could add, I guess. And cookies, that would be charitability. Erin doesn't deserve any charity whatsoever. None. Zero. Because all she does is take and manipulate and bully. She's done nothing but an online bully. She's gross. She's an empty shell of a human being that she could have been. But she wants to fantasize that she's already there without putting the hard work in. The hard work she does is try harder at trying to convince herself she's a particular person rather than building baby steps to get there and putting the work in from that angle. I've done this. I've talked about this. And she ended up, analyze this, Jack. Well, my reply is the last video that wrapped this up. And then again, this is going to go in between. So Merry Christmas, everyone. And thank you for the clarification. Much appreciated. And thank you again for thanking me for this. It's been hard work to do so. The analysis of this. I'm getting tired. I was going to have a drink and something to eat. Maybe a bit of a nap. And I might play some more Thief gameplay later. Unless somebody else is live. And then I sit and watch them. Peace out. Take care. I look forward to doing another video soon. Merry Christmas.